met her in class and she was like doodling and doing all this artsy stuff. I'm like, okay, she's different, right? She's super smart. Anywho, anybody Dodgers fans in the house? Mixed crowd. I was thinking do something. We're ready, what's the score? Yes. Cool. Well, before I get started, I just want to say my name is Adedeji and I'm your friend. Okay? And we'll find out if that's true or false at the end of tonight. I want to do a few things that I really was always trained to do, and that's to honor the house. And I really want to thank, although he's not here, Pastor Nets. And yeah, put your guys' hands together for Pastor Nets. That's your pastor. You know, I came here with my sister, and my dad's church is like we meet in a hotel conference room. So you guys have something that's so beautiful. You should be thanking Pastor Nets and God for just a beautiful place. Because this is really, I mean, look at this. This is nice. I'm not used to this. This is very bougie. Alright? But I'm just kidding. You guys are awesome. Really quickly, I want you to do something, and this may be a little bit out of your comfort zone. And I want you to just, first of all, turn to your neighbor and say, look them in the eye contact. Turn to your neighbor and say, are you ready?
Are you ready?
Okay, that neighbor didn't really feel it or believe you. So turn to your other neighbor and say, are you ready?
Are you ready?
Are you ready?
All right, now you guys are all awkward because you made eye contact with someone. Now I want you to look both ways and say, you're gonna learn something today.
Learn something today.
She in the back laid hands on somebody, like she about to pray for somebody. Anywho, you guys are, I can tell this is gonna be a good crowd. So, yeah, I met Ilse in class, I think 5 years ago at APU. And does anybody go to APU here? Woo! We have one lone soul. What's your name? Say it again. Angie. Angie goes to APU. Cougars in the house. So I went to APU. I really just came there to play football, if I can be completely honest with you guys. I didn't know what I wanted to study, or I didn't even really care much for college. But then, of course, you go and you learn and you get a lot out of it. And I studied Christian ministries with Ilse, and then we went to grad school together and we worked together and have a lot of history. So it's really cool to be here. She's told me so much about you guys. She puts her heart into you guys. You don't even realize, and so we've always heard stories. So to be here today is such an honor. Okay? So I want to start by sharing this. And can I just be real with you guys tonight? Is that okay? Cool. Yeah. We can do that?
Yeah.
All right. I want to start with a story. I can remember this like it was yesterday. I remember my first day of high school, freshman year, bro. Like the night before, I had my clothes laid out. I had my Jordans, I had my jeans, I had my jersey, fitted hat. I was ready. Walked to school, got my backpack on. We used to wear our backpack low. That was the style. Is that the style now?
No.
See, y'all don't know about that. Y'all don't know about that. Look, I came, J's on, backpack low, walking to school. I'm feeling myself, right? I get to school. Of course I want to see the girls. Come on, gotta see them. Girls are around, okay. I'm like, okay, let's do this. There's this little hangout area where all the cool kids hang out. I'm like, all right, here we go. I gotta go through this crowd. Go through the crowd, bro. As soon as I get through, there you go. They look at me like who is this little young bug? Who does this guy think he is coming into the cool kid circle? So I'm like, yeah, my name's Deji. I'm here. I'm a freshman. I'm excited. And they just started roasting me, bro. Literally, just roast. How many of you guys have ever just been roasted? Where people just going at you, they were just coming after me. And I thought I was fresh. Just coming from my head, talking about I had a big head, which, Look. Hey, this head right here is beautiful, okay? Like it or not, it's big and it's beautiful. They were just coming from my head. Look at your hairline, look at your this, you're short, bro, I'm like, dang! I thought this was supposed to be the first day of high school. I thought this was supposed to be freshman year where I can get my schedule and just go to class and just, be cool. I was in for a rude awakening. Crazy part is, as I kept going to school, the more people start kind of like, I guess, picking at you, talking about you, you start to doubt yourself a little bit. First day I'm like really confident. Day 2 I'm like, I am kind of short. I am kind of, my head is kind of big, or, I'm not that cool as I thought, right? You start to it starts to eat at your self-image. Am I talking to myself today, or does this happen to someone else too, right? So here's the thing. We start to do this whole process, which we call judging ourselves, or criticizing ourselves. Because somebody told us something about us that wasn't true, right? Or maybe it was true, but in the way that we received it, it was meant to harm us rather than to help us. So we start to attach it to ourselves. So now, when I go up to somebody else, what's your name, man? What's your name? Chris. What's your last name? My brother's name is Chris, so that's cool. What's up, Chris? So I go up to Chris now, right? And I got all these, voices in my head about myself. I don't look good, I'm not cool, I'm not smart, whatever. So now I go up to Chris, and the first thing I want to do is, hey man, you ugly. I'm kind of paraphrasing, right? You're like, hey man, your head's kind of big. Your head's big, Chris. I'm coming for you. What you gonna do? I'm coming for your head's big. I'm teasing. Okay, what I want to get at is this. Sometimes in life, it just happens. This happened to me my freshman year. I cried a lot of days. It's crazy, right? But when people tell us stuff about us that's not true, and that kind of eats at our self-image, our only response is to go out and to want to say it to somebody else. It's almost like bullying. When you get picked on, usually bullies are the ones who they're getting, kind of picked on at home. So what happens to you, you usually end up transferring that out to somebody else. Now, why am I saying all this? Because in the same way that happens, you can do something different. Let me hear you guys say, do something different. Okay, you guys are super smart, and I can already tell, so I don't need to do all these notes. I want to ask really quickly you guys a question. And the question is this. Do you value yourself? I know, I went deep really fast. I know, I said you might say I'm your friend or not. I'm gonna ask to this side, because that side's kind of quiet. I'm gonna ask you this side. Do you value yourself? Just a yes or no. Do you value yourself? Thank you. He said yes real loud. So you must really feel something. Can I be honest with you guys? I'm 25 years old. I've been to a few countries. I've done some stuff, worked, Instagram, whatever you guys want to throw in there. I sometimes struggle every single day to realize, am I really valuable? Do I really matter? Am I somebody who's worthy of love, who's accepted, who belongs? I don't know a lot of you. In fact, I met 2 of you earlier, a few of you. But I can say one thing's for sure. Each and every one of you guys want 3 things. I don't even need to ask. And those 3 things are this. You want to be loved, you want to be accepted, and you want to belong. You want a space where you can belong. You want people to accept you for who you are. And you want to know deep down when you lay your head on your pillow that you're loved. Can I get a head nod to say that's pretty true? Right? We all want to be accepted. But there's challenges that stop us from that. I want to turn really quickly to Matthew chapter 22. And do they carry their Bibles here? Or their iPhones? That's okay. That's okay, because I didn't even bring mine. Isn't that crazy? I brought my phone, but I'm not going to bring it out because I memorized it, because I studied. In Matthew chapter 22, verse 36, for those of you who are maybe taking notes, it's 4 verses. And I truly believe these 4 verses are literally what can save you in high school or what can kill you in high school, depending upon how you view it. Matthew chapter 22, verse 36 through 40. There was a group of people coming after Jesus, right? These are the Pharisees, the scribes, people who are like very smart. And they're trying to kind of catch him with this question. They say, Jesus, what is the greatest commandment? What is the most important thing we should know? What is the greatest thing that we should do? Right? And you guys know what Jesus said, right? He looked at him and he said, okay, it's very simple. He said the greatest commandment is to love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your strength. Basically everything you got in you. Love God with everything. Then this is the second part. Okay, you gotta listen up. Second part says, love your neighbor as yourself. I want us to say this together. On the count of 3, we're gonna say, love your neighbor as yourself. 1, 2, 3. Love your neighbor as yourself. What does that mean? What does that mean, to love your neighbor as yourself? I'm gonna give you an example. The measure by which you judge and criticize and hate your own self is the measure in which you judge and criticize and hate somebody else. This is deep. But check this out. If I wake up every day and I look myself in the mirror, or I scroll on my IG and I start to criticize my picture, man, why do I look like this? Or why didn't I get this many views? Or man, why didn't people comment on it? Or man, like, why is my filter not? If you start to criticize yourself, it's only natural to go to the second person or the next person you see and just start to criticize them, right? Because it's in us. Here's the beautiful part. Jesus is trying to lay out a formula for how to win in life. If you can get this, guys, I promise you, you'll be straight. He says to love your neighbor as you love yourself, which means 2 things. 1, you gotta love yourself. You gotta love yourself. And that's hard to do, by the way. It's not easy. 2, you gotta love your neighbor. Now I'm gonna come back to Chris. Chris, you know I love you, bro. It's my bro. This is my brother's name, so I call you like my bro. I love Chris. Why do I love Chris? Because I love me. Why do I love me? Because God loves me. Why does God love me? I said freshman year of high school. When you come into life, almost like you're a freshman in high school, people throw stuff at you. It can be comments, it can be advice, it can be somebody just looking at you in the face and saying, hey, I don't think you can do it. That happened to me all the time. I started an online business, and you have people who really love me just tell me straight to my face, like, bro, you're not gonna do this thing. Like, you're not gonna be successful. Like, whoa, what a way to encourage me. Like, but it happens. And so I want you guys to get this. Look, in life, people are gonna throw stuff at you. People are gonna whisper things. People are gonna comment and say whatever. But if you can just get this fact that God loves you, like really loves you, like really loves you. Like, even though you, like, he knows what you did last night, like on the internet, like when you thought nobody was watching, but like you deleted and cleared the history to try and cover up, but then you went to the next day thinking, even that stuff, right? Yeah, I'm all up in your house tonight. Yeah, I know what you did. Here's the crazy part. Most of us don't actually believe it. Most of us actually don't believe that we're valued, and that we're loved, and that we're accepted. So I gotta say it another way for you guys to kind of get it. Hector and Anthony, can you guys come and bring that? I gotta say it another way because some of you guys aren't getting it. I gotta say it a different way, and it's really just it's kind of like, how many of you guys use Netflix? How many people use Netflix? You guys ever? Yeah, just right here, just stand right here. You ever watch this show called what's the name of it? Black Mirror? How many of you guys watch Black Mirror? I love that show. That show is dope. You should check it out. Well, can they watch? Okay. You should check it out. Like, ask your parents ask your parents and then check it out if they say yes, because it's kind of interesting. But anywho, the show's just basically about what the future will kind of look like in terms of like the interaction of the internet, social media, and just ourselves. And it's called Black Mirror. And so I was trying to think about a way to get you guys to understand it in a different way, like loving yourself. So I have, I said Anthony, I'm so sorry. Y'all should have stopped me. Andrew, can we clap it up for Andrew? And then over here, I have Hector. Can we clap it up for Hector? So, ooh, that's not good. So I really want them to illustrate the same point, but in a different way. So Hector, I want you to stand, kind of like get on the steps, right? Get on the steps. Wow, like a little bit more. So like, a little bit more. Okay, Andrew. Now I'm getting mixed up. Andrew, I want you to stand in such a way to where you can see yourself in the mirror. Okay? You have to make sure you can see yourself though, because you're very tall. Okay, so can you see yourself?
Yes, sir.
And you look good. Okay, so Andrew's looking at himself in the mirror. Hector's holding the mirror. We're gonna do a little role play. Okay, you guys like role play?
Yes.
Okay, it's gonna be kind of weird though. I'm gonna be the devil first, and then I'm gonna come over here, and I'm gonna be like I'm gonna be God. Come on, bro. I'm gonna be God. Okay, so let's play. Let's have fun. Okay, so Andrew, this is. Let's just say this is tomorrow morning, Thursday morning. Okay. Today's Thursday? See, he's playing. Don't play with me. Thursday morning, you're waking up. You just brushed your teeth. You did your hair. You're getting ready for school. You look at yourself in the mirror. Can you put it up? He says. And I'm gonna be the devil. Okay, I'm gonna whisper some things. So get ready, okay? All right. So there you are. There you are. You think they want to see you today? Nobody actually wants to see you today. Did you know that? Nobody cares about you. No one wants to see you today. You look horrible. Yeah, I know. Yeah, well, maybe you can just keep looking at yourself, but we all know you're not worthy of love. No one cares about you. Now I'm going to be God. That's my favorite part. What's up, bro? Dang, you look good. All right. Well, let me sit down. Go ahead. Get ready. All right. What's up, man? So, yeah, I see you. Yep. You know I love you, right? Yeah, I died for you. You know I died for you. You walk into, you belong there. Like every room. Like you're meant to be there. Thirdly, every group you're a part of, every friend group, like they accept you. Like you're valuable, and you mean so much to me. I thought a lot about you last night, and I even want you to remember me today. And just know this: if you don't know anything else from today, just know that you're loved, you're accepted, and you belong, bro. You belong. And cut. Oh! Can we get a round of applause one more time? What I wanted to do in that was to really just kind of let you guys into my own life, if that's okay. You guys sometimes put us pastors on such a high pedestal. Like we are so normal and human, just like you guys. In fact, I think sometimes we think about crazier stuff than y'all do. It's almost like on the way here, right? If I were to be the mirror, in fact, let me be the mirror. In the mirror. Now, um, I was preparing all week for you guys, and I was like so nervous, and I was like, Ilse, like pray for me because I don't know why I'm just feeling so nervous. Like I usually speak and I do this, and I feel like really, really prepared, but I was like, I don't know what it is. She was like, bro, like okay, like I'll pray for you. So she prayed for me last night, and man, this happens like every single time I'm about to do something for God or just do something good. There's usually like two voices, just like what we just did. That's like my head I just let you guys into. And so this is kind of how it went for me. Like I looked in the mirror. Don't lose your, I was gonna say chunk club. So I looked in the mirror, and I took a deep breath, and I shaved. And I said, I can do this today. But then the devil, of course, he sticks his ugly head out, and he's like, they don't want to hear you. There's nothing you have for them that they want. You can't do it. Like literally, like I can hear this very clearly. Does this happen to you guys too sometimes? Yeah. And I'm just like, bro, get out of my head. Like, get out of my world. Like, get away from me. But then I'm like, okay, I had to chill, take a breather, and then I come on this side, and I want you to be like, can you kind of help me with the God part? I feel like you got some good stuff to say. Can you? Okay. Yeah. So like, then God, like, he just kind of like, like, he kind of like treats me like his dad, like I'm his son, basically. Sometimes he just tells me like, son, like, and I'm like, yes, dad. Because I had an interesting relationship with my dad. My dad's like a super macho man. Like, I never saw my dad cry. Like, till this day, my dad's 68 years old. And sometimes, like, my dad was there for me physically, but like emotionally, I'm like, like, I just wanted some, like, something, like, give me a hug, or like, just let me know, like, that we're good, I guess. I don't know. I kind of wanted that. I got it later, but, so dad, for me, sometimes I just call it dad, God dad. It just kind of helps fill that void, I guess. Like, sometimes I just say, dad, like, I need you right now. And then God's like, all right, I got you, son. So I want you to be dad, or God, and I want you to just kind of like counter whatever the devil's ugly head tried to say to me. Yeah, I'm gonna go to the mirror.
Look at you. You're killing it today. You're going to get into that car, you're going to drive all the way to houses, and you're going to preach my gospel because I chose you to do that. You're going to speak life over them, and they're going to feel your presence. You are my son, and I see you, and I love you. You are perfect in my eyes, and you are perfect, and I love you for the rest of my life. And I will always be there as your father.
I think we found our preacher for next week. You guys can we put our hands together for them one more time? That's good. I need to write that down. Do you guys do like affirmations or something like that? I would highly encourage it. Just writing down some truths about who you are and who God says you are. This is like dope. Because in the same way that we can kind of get down on ourselves and be very, just very self-condemning or criticizing, in the opposite way, we can be very prideful. I just know for myself, playing football, bro, like, couldn't nobody tell me nothing. Like, we were winning championships, we had everything going for us, the popular crowd, like, state champion, CIF, all that stuff. It's like, we were just so cocky. Like, we would just walk, and we were just so prideful. Here's the crazy part. We were putting our confidence in our performance as an athlete, not in, like, our character or who we truly were. So I kid you not. Some of my best friends from high school, I went to Corona Centennial High School, one of the best football teams in the whole state. I went to Azusa Pacific University, which their soccer team's ranked number 1 NCAA Division II. So just amazing athletes. But one of my best friends, he injured his knee. Got a knee injury. He was like a D1 athlete, super good. as soon as he injured his knee, he went into this deep, dark depression. Because the one thing that he identified himself on, which was his performance, or if you will, what he did on IG, I guess you can kind of say it like that, right? Because he's like an amazing athlete. But as soon as he got injured, he doesn't have that anymore. So now what does he put his confidence in? What does he put his hope in? What does he put his trust in? He has nothing. And so what I'm trying to get at here is, in the same way we can be kind of self-criticizing or thinking very lowly of ourselves, the opposite can happen where we think we're so prideful, we think we're all that in a bag of chips, right? You really want to find yourself in the middle ground. Say middle ground. Okay, say it one more time. Say middle ground. Okay, Deji, what do you mean by middle ground? Here's what I mean. I like to use Instagram because we use it a lot. If you have an Instagram post and you get 522 likes, okay, you cool, right? Don't feel yourself, don't get too up. It's just a post. Alright, so just stay in the middle ground. And in the same way, if you have an Instagram post and you only get 18 likes and 10 of them were your family, don't get too low on yourself. It's not even a big deal. It's just maybe nobody was on that day, right? They didn't pay for their Wi-Fi that day. What I'm trying to get at is this. If you're super up or if you're super low from the outside world's perspective, don't worry about it. Just stay on that middle ground where you know who you are, you're rooted in who you did your mirror work, and you know what? No matter what happens today, if it's a great day or if it's a horrible day, I know I'm loved, I know I'm valued, and I know I belong. Repeat after me. Say, I know I'm loved.
I know I'm loved.
I know I'm valued.
I know I'm valued.
I know I belong.
I know I belong.
Okay, turn to your neighbor, because you didn't really believe it. Turn to your neighbor and say, I know I'm loved.
I know I'm loved.
I know I'm valued.
I know I'm valued.
And I know I belong.
And
This
I
is
know I belong.
awkward. Now let's switch it. Turn to your other neighbor and say, I love you.
I love you.
You belong.
You belong.
And what was the third one? I forgot. Oh, and you are valued. Look.
You
see?
are valued.
Amen.
All of you.
Look, if you guys don't get anything out of tonight, if you guys don't get anything out of tonight, I want you guys to know this, right? The words and the thoughts Jesus has for you are like so beautiful and so precious. Like, he sees each and every one of you. None of you guys are a mistake. Like, sometimes people tell us that we're a mistake. None of you guys are a mistake. Even the way you look, your hair, your skin color. Like, for me, right, I'm like kind of caramel, you know? Like, when God made me, he's like, yeah, let me put some caramel up in that thing. Yeah, let me put a little vanilla in that. If you see my mom's like really light. Like, she's like lighter than all you guys. It's true. But when he made her, like, he's like, yeah, let me put some vanilla up in that thing. Vanilla latte. Right? Whatever it is for you, like, you gotta just realize when God made you, like, he did it on purpose. Like, it wasn't a mistake. Like, you weren't an accident. Like, you're not here for no reason at houses. Like, you're here for a purpose. Like, God is putting value and love inside of you so that way you can take that love that he gave you and now go share it with other people. Right? So that way next time, this whole thing will be double. You guys all have one friend who needs to hear that they're loved and that they're valued and that they belong. Come on now. Who doesn't need to hear that? So I want to close with saying this. First of all, Chris, you're not ugly. I didn't get to correct that. You're not ugly. Yeah. You forgive me? Are you Chris too? Oh. So I want to end with this, man. I want to end with this. This is kind of my confession. I'm like a very goal-driven person. Like, I don't know if you guys do the Enneagram and all that, but I'm a number 3, which basically just means I like to achieve things. I like to perform. I'm image-driven, which means I like to be seen as having it all together. I don't like to ask for help. I'm somebody who's very positive, etc., right? But there's also a shadow side to that, meaning if I'm not careful, it can be something that can hurt me. So I'm gonna give you an example. Growing up, we always had this thing where, we play sports. Does anybody here play sports, by the way? Oh, okay, good. So like happy. So you guys know about film. For those of you guys who don't know what film is, film just means after you practice or play a game, you have to watch it with your coach, and it's the worst thing. I hate it. So if you did good, it's good. Like if you did good, it's like, oh, let's watch me. Like I bought out this game. But if you didn't do good, it's like, oh, don't play that one, man. Like, I missed it or I dropped it or whatever. So anywho, because of this, like always playing the tapes, I was always very much concerned with how I performance. Now, that's football. Now let's go to Christianity. All right, you go to church, what do you want to do? You want to act like you have it all together. You want to make sure that you're saying all the right things and that you're lifting your hands when you're supposed to. And you just want to perform for God, basically. Like you want to give God a performance. God doesn't want your performance. I used to think God's love for me only came when I did things that were good. Does this make sense? Like I used to think that the only way I got God's love was when I prayed or when I went to church or when I did something, I guess, holy. I don't know. This is what I used to think. Like I have to perform for God and then God loves me. So I perform for God and then God gives me his love. Or almost like a dog, you tell a dog to do a trick and then you give the dog a treat. Trick or treat? The dog does the trick. Good job, dog. Now you get a reward. Now you get a doggy treat. It's almost kind of like that for Christianity sometimes when we're performance-based. We say, okay, God, I'm going to do the prayer. I'm going to go to houses on Wednesday night. I'm going to do all this stuff. So now you're going to bless me because I did all this stuff. Give me my treat. Give me my treat. Look, God will give you the treat if you do good or do bad. What I want to get at is, it was almost like, literally, I remember I can hear it. One day God looked at me and he said, Deji. He said, if you don't do another thing for the church, if you don't do another thing for people, if you don't do another thing for your family, he said, if you were even to just sit here on this floor and just lay with your face on the floor for the rest of your life, he said, I wouldn't love you any less. I was like, whew, that's pretty deep. He said, if you don't do anything, if you don't do another sermon, if you don't serve, if you don't go to church, if you don't do he said, if you just stay on this floor with your face down for the rest of your life, he said, I wouldn't love you any less. Guys, that's the type of love that God has for each and every one of you. It's not about what you do, and it's not about your mistakes either. The crazy part is, God uses your mistakes for his glory. He uses your failures for his purpose. So you don't have to have it all together for IG. You don't have to do that. You don't have to tell everybody everything is okay. I remember talking to some of my boys, and they would always say, hey man, Deji, how are you doing? And I could have just been having the worst day ever. And I'll say, hey, I'm good. I got it all together. Am I the only one who does this? Okay. How many of you guys do that too? Raise your hands. You can be honest. It's just how we're wired sometimes when we think that we have to perform for people or that we have to be a certain way to be accepted. But that is not the formula that God has. So I wonder, because when Jesus asked what the greatest commandment was, he told them straight up. He's like, there's no mystery to this thing. Love God with all your heart and all your soul and all your mind. Love God with all your heart, all your soul, and all your mind. And then the second part, love your neighbor as yourself. Let's say it together. 1, 2, 3.
Love your neighbor as yourself.
It's a mystery. You might have to think about it a few more days to really, I'm still trying to figure it out. Because that's really what this is about. Guys, if you can look at yourself in the mirror, do your mirror talk, and wake up and say, I'm loved, I'm valued, and I'm accepted, I'm 100% sure you'll have a better chance doing that to somebody else.